Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For a radio audience tuning in to WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also tuning in online worldwide thanks to our podcast at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. We're glad that you all could be with us as well. Well, as you guys know, we've been talking about already, this is National Small Business Week, leading us right into Small Business Month. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to not only to celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit of small businesses, but also the impact they're able to have on the economy. But there are some challenges, of course, that they do face. And because of that, we're excited about our next guest. We're excited to welcome to our broadcast Erron Stark. He's the Vice President and General Manager for Small Business Services at ADP. He's going to talk to us not only about what is top of mind for when it comes to small business owners, but also how their contributions are so critical for all of us, especially when it comes to the economy. Erron, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Cyrus.
So this is such an important, it's an important topic for us, Erron. As a small business owner myself, I know this is one of those topics that I talk about a lot. But what's top of mind that you found for ADP for small business owners when it comes to what they're thinking about today?
Yeah, I mean, here at ADP, we kind of have a unique view when it comes to the small business community. We have a little over 850,000 small business clients that we service on a daily basis. We onboard over 150,000 new small businesses annually. And then we give them a survey and we ask them questions just like that. And a third of them told us this past year that growing their business is top of mind, which, you know, when I thought about it, it sounded, I don't want to say generic, but when you dig into it, there's a couple of like key categories that stand out. First one is around talent acquisition and retention. Like, how do I find really skilled employees? How do I retain my best employees? Are questions that we get quite often. How do I navigate the ever-changing regulatory environment? And then the last one is, how do I ensure for my business that I'm using the right existing technology or, you know, staying in tune with emerging technology that will enable me to scale my business? And those kind of all kind of feed into that category of how do I grow my business being top of mind.
Right. And with that growth, Erron, I think one of the big things is kind of keeping up with the times, right? So when it comes to that, how can small business owners adapt to the changing business environment that's going on?
Yeah, it's a great question. And as I mentioned before, the 150,000 new small business clients that trust ADP, they actually come from trusted advisors. We get a lot of our business, almost 50% of our business comes from or comes through referrals, primarily through the accountant channel. And, you know, I think that's, you know, step number one, especially for not just a new business, but for existing businesses, that you have somebody that is staying ahead or is synchronized with, you know, what changes. You know, this past year, there were close to 200 different regulatory changes between HR, payroll, tax, federal, state. I mean, it can go through the gamut. And, you know, how do you have somebody that is helping you stay ahead of that so that way you could focus on what you do best, which is running your small business? And, you know, we tend to see one of the best practices is working with a, you know, trusted advisor, an accountant, you know, a partner, and then also having the right vendor or technology that can help you navigate that. You know, an example is, you know, coming up in July for all small businesses. You said you're a small business yourself, Cyrus. You know, if you have a salaried employee that today is getting paid X amount, well, on July 1st, that X amount may no longer be exempt from overtime. And, you know, how do you start to prepare for whether or not do you increase that salary? Do you potentially pay that employee hourly where they could have been working 45, 50 hours, but you had no idea because they were exempt and they were salaried? Well, now all of a sudden you have to have the right infrastructure to make the right decisions. So that way, whatever economic impact that it could have on your business doesn't slow you down.
That is great information to know, Erron. That's why it's so important that we're having conversations like this so that we can stay up to date. One thing that you mentioned, of course, that small businesses are looking at, and of course is a concern, is talent. So let's talk about that a little bit. How can small business owners compete for talent in the changing market?
Yeah, so you know, I think what's great about today and in this era of technology and emerging technology is that it's available, it's accessible, it's affordable, and it's also like consumer grade. So you think about like, how do you find the right talent? So there's a ton of different employment marketplaces that are out there where it aggregates all of these resumes and helps you identify qualified talent very quickly. You know, some of the partners that we work with today can help you find a qualified candidate within a day. And then it comes to, well, if I find the right person, how do I make sure that I secure that talent and offering them a competitive wage? And, data is everywhere these days. It happens to be ADP's middle name. But it sometimes is not very digestible. And with our new compensation benchmarking tool, and I say new, it's actually been in the market for a few years now, but we've actually brought it to the small business community where with a couple clicks of a button, you can tell based on the job type, based on the geography, based on the industry, how much you should be paying, or what at least the going rate is for an electrician, a plumber, a construction worker. I can go through the gamut. And that way you're offering a competitive wage. You're not overpaying, you're not underpaying. And then the last piece is, if you think about just yourself as an employee, you want good comprehensive benefits. And to a small business owner, that's not necessarily always the most affordable thing that you could provide. However, as much as the regulatory environment could be a challenge, there's also some benefits where things like the Secure Act that was instituted a couple of years ago, it continues to evolve, where they now call it the Secure Act 2.0, enables a small business owner to get a tax credit for offering a retirement program or a retirement vehicle for their employees. And then the last piece that I would mention is there are over 3,000 tax credits and incentives that are available to the small business community, but that's a lot. So, if you go to adp.com/tax credits, we have a bunch of different experts that, based on what type of business you are, what type of employees that you're hiring, where you're located, we can help you identify which ones are applicable for you. So that way you can inject capital into your business to then be able to afford to pay those competitive wages, offer those good benefits, which all put you in the best position to compete for that talent.
Well, it's great information and resources available for us, Erron, and we're glad to have you on here. Also, want to let our audience know they can visit adp.com/small business as well to be able to find out some great information about the different price packages that you all have available for small businesses to be able to help them out where they might be. Erron, I'm so glad you could join us as we're celebrating this week, the National Small Business Week, gearing up for Small Business Month. Again, everyone, Erron Stark has been our guest, the Vice President and General Manager of Small Business Services at ADP. Again, make sure you guys visit adp.com/small business. And Erron, it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
It'd be my pleasure, Cyrus. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Have a great rest of the week.
Hey, you as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.